We found a .45 caliber shell casing out here. It's unclear if it's related to the crime. All right, police have a warrant for the arrest of this man, Wilkins Marte Escana. They found his getaway car in the city of York, but he is still on the loose tonight. Well, Rob, it's a very active scene out here right now. Let me show you. Firefighters are trying to get the SUV out, but not only that, they're trying to get the 3 dogs. These things are pretty heavy. Well, that stranger hit him on the side of the head, and Bob says he's lucky he was able to turn his head.
We begin with breaking news in the Jerry Sandusky child sex scandal tonight. 2 big headlines developing right now.
That's right. First, Sandusky's lawyer just threw a Hail Mary motion into the courts. He's asking for the case to be tossed out for several different reasons in a more than 250-page motion that was filed late this afternoon.
In the second development you see there, the Patriot News reporting that the man at the center of the very first child sex abuse allegation in 1998 could have changed history if only he'd had a critical piece of information. This caseworker says he should never have closed the case against Sandusky. More on that in a moment.
But first, we begin with CBS 21's Eva Roman on the motions filed in court today. She's live with the Dauphin County Mobile Newsroom in Harrisburg. And Eva, Sandusky's attorney really is filing everything from A to Z in this motion, and you just talked to him.
That's right. Amendola tells me that one of the many reasons he wants this case dismissed is because he says 7 out of the 10 accused victims' charges lack specific. There are no dates, no times, no locations. And you guys, that's only a small part of this 251-page motion to dismiss filed by Amendola and his team today. Amendola tells me that the law says if the Commonwealth doesn't give the defense enough evidence to prepare, the judge can dismiss the charges. The other part of the pretrial motion asks the court to throw out 3 other sets of charges from accusers 2, 6, and 8. Those cases, he says, do have specific time frames and places, but he feels the evidence is insufficient to go to a jury. Now, the motion to dismiss also says the Commonwealth cannot sustain these charges at the trial simply based upon the testimony of Mike McQueary. His testimony at the preliminary hearings did not establish sufficient evidence to support these charges. Sandusky's lawyers also want the judge to review the statute of limitations in this case. In addition to that, Amendola is asking for a continuance, saying the discovery just keeps coming in and he doesn't see this trial starting in mid-May as first scheduled. Now, another request by Amendola is when the jury is selected, he tells me he wants them to go into the judge's chambers one by one to be questioned instead of questioned in a group. And then once the jury is chosen, he wants that jury sequestered during the trial. For now, we're live with the Dauphin County Mobile Newsroom in Harrisburg tonight. Eva Roman, CBS 21 News.
A decorated war veteran with a disability is suing 3 people who work for the Pennsylvania Department of Corrections. Now, he says that they falsely accused him of misusing military leave and then fired him because of the false charge.
A judge ended up dismissing all of the charges, and now this war vet says he doesn't want his job back, but he does want these people to literally pay for what they have done. So he has filed a civil lawsuit. The veteran spoke only with CBS 21's Eva Roman tonight. She has more on this exclusive story. Joining us live tonight, Eva.
Right. Well, Master Sergeant Brian Kubik tells me that he never expected to be treated differently because he serves our country. What he does want, though, is fair treatment.
I had several accomplishments throughout my career. I was awarded a combat infantry badge in Iraq in 2005-2006.
This highly decorated and disabled war veteran is suing 3 people, one of them his former boss. They all work for the Pennsylvania Department of Corrections. The DOC investigator Stephen Allen, the DOC Human Resources analyst John Biondo, and DOC Chief of Security Tammy Ferguson. Brian Kubik's attorney Devin Jacobs says it all started with Brian's arrest. He claims that the 3 people listed in the civil lawsuit made up bogus charges that Kubik misused his military time. Then they fired him. But the Army fired back, sending proof it wasn't true, a letter verifying Kubik's military service. The charges were dismissed, but the war veteran was left without a job. So now he's suing the 3 people his lawyer believes wanted him gone.
That does not mean necessarily returning to work. That means Tammy Ferguson, the person who spearheaded this vindictive plan to terminate Master Sergeant Kubik's employment, that she'll be terminated.
The lawsuit alleges that when Kubik asked for military leave, Tammy Ferguson called him a coward, adding, "If you keep bugging me about this military stuff, I will send you to the Camp Hill prison. You've been out of jail too long. You need some jail time." Today, the man who spent 23 years serving his country isn't letting it go. Instead, he's taking action so that this won't happen to any other soldier trying to do his duty.
I mean, you serve your country, you don't expect to be treated different than anyone. You expect to be treated as equal.
Now, just to be clear, the DOC isn't listed in this lawsuit. It's the 3 DOC officials. The department had no comment tonight. I'm still waiting to hear back from the governor. In the meantime, the Master Sergeant continues to serve in the Army Reserves. For now, we're live with the Dauphin County Mobile Newsroom in Harrisburg. Eva Roman, CBS 21 News. Bob Deibler has lived in Midtown for 40 years.
Good afternoon, the Bear Wall.
He co-owns the Bear Wall on Green Street. On Friday morning, after he dropped his partner off at the store, he then went to pick up some groceries. When Bob got home at the 1000 block of Green Street, he noticed a teenage boy with a brick in his hand.
I was going to say to him, "What are you going to do with that brick, son?" And he started across the street toward me. I thought nothing of it. And just as he got about even with me, he picked up the brick. I mean, he had it in his hand, and he just whammed me at the side of my head.
Bob saw he was bleeding, but says he wasn't hurt too badly because he managed to move his head.
I was a little shaken up, no question about it. But I continued into the house because all I could think of was, I've got ice cream and I need to put it in the freezer.
Bob told his partner about the attack, and he called Harrisburg police. They arrived about 30 minutes later to take his report.
What bothers me most is he didn't seem to want anything. He didn't say a word to me. He just hit me and ran like a flash.
The people who live here say crime in Midtown is increasing. Bob says it's getting so bad, people are afraid to walk outside.
I think we all need to become aware of what's going on. And I don't know what the answer is, but there has to be an answer, and I think it has to come from the citizens.